pretty scary. So your question about the fasting, go back to the fasting thing. So what happens is your body has a break. It has a break where it rests during that time. That's such an important thing. And people, used to fast once a week. There's a lot of people fast once a week. Some people do fasting, intermittent fasting, where they eat for only so much time of the day, and then they rest the rest of the time, which I like to do myself. And so you have a period of time where you're fueling the body up for the day, so that you live off that fuel, and the rest of the time the body just lives off the fuel and you don't eat in that time, and so the body rests. And what happens with the intermittent fasting, is the body detoxes itself.
Right.
It starts to go into all the things that are dangerous inside the body. It goes to all the toxic things inside our body and starts detoxing it during the fasting period. The body, because what happens is when you stop eating, it's a funny thing that happens. That when you stop eating, the body thinks there's something wrong because you're not eating 3 meals a day. It thinks there's something wrong, and then it goes, "Oh, what's happening?" And so then it rushes around, sends all the messages around the body, trying to work out what's wrong. And so while it's rushing around, it starts to heal everything that's broken because it thinks something's wrong. It's like doing a check. Your computer doesn't glitches, then you start going through and you check this and you check that and you check that to make sure it's all functioning. Then you reboot it and then you do this and do that, and then you get it all running again. Well, the body does the same thing. It runs around trying to find where the glitch in the matrix is because you're not eating. It's the same thing. If you hold your breath, the body goes into you get an adrenaline rush straight away as soon as you stop breathing because the body thinks, I'm dying. And the same thing happens when you stop eating. So the body just starts detoxing anything in the body. It starts repairing muscles and fibers and produces more stem cells and produces everything during that time. And they've proven this. They've done lots of research on fasting. It's a very research subject. And the body basically rejuvenates itself because it thinks there's something not quite right. So it fixes itself. Clever. And so I'm a big fan on the fasting and intermittent fasting. I think it's a very clever way of keeping the body healthy and well. It just keeps repairing itself. It can't help itself. It just wants to fix itself. It's a very unique thing that we live in. This vessel we have is extraordinary. How it searches for homeostasis every second of our day, trying to balance itself and keep itself healthy. The body's not.
It's almost like it's, you're doing a physical workout too when you're thinking about it, because you get into things like using heat and saunas and that works on the zombie cells. So your body is like going, oh my, everything's out of balance. We got to do something about this. And then it works, gets rid of the zombie cells or what have you. And then you go cold. And then it starts going, well, something else is going on wrong. We got to pump some iron here and get those stem cells a little bit longer and get those figured out because something isn't obviously right here.
Yeah.
Of course, when you take the cacao, then you end up getting stem cells going with that too. So
yeah, it's clever. I mean, we teach it. We're training our body to react, to get it to do something. And I do the saunas. I do the saunas and the cold plunges myself every week when I go to the gym. And it just triggering that because it's making your body healthy, because it's making your body switch from hot to cold, and it's regulating itself. It's teaching itself how to do that quickly. So it gets really good at that. It's like the line in the snow thing. It's teaching itself to regulate itself. So you're making it do something. And it's a good thing to say they've been doing this. These aren't new things. They've been around for a long, long time. People have understood this principles for a long, long time. You go right back to the sweat lodges for the First Nation people in America, doing sweat lodges. The body just goes into a panic because it thinks it's cooking. and I know you've done sweat lodges. I've done a few. And so it's not the most comfortable place. It's like a sauna on steroids because you're sitting there for 3 hours without coming out. And the body has to adjust to that. But when you come back out and you get in the cold water after that, man, something happens in your body. The cleanliness and the vision and the clarity and the consciousness is so alive. So something happens with all these things. But as I say, these have been around for a long time. These aren't new inventions. They've been a long, long, long time. Yeah. And so we're just tapping into some lineage. We're tapping into a knowing or an understanding that have been around. And people have made new things out of it, but it's been done for a long time.
We've labeled it differently.
Yeah, we get a new label, make it a trendy thing to do, and do that, but it's
too. It's like, oh, you're gonna, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, you got to get warm. Okay, that's going to be 29.95. You
Yeah,
have to
well,
go.
unfortunately, the whole the human being money thing gets involved with it. We can make some money. Yeah,
Yeah,
but a lot of
exactly.
this is a natural thing that you don't have to spend a lot of money to do. A lot of this is not to eat, to choose not to eat. It's not going to cost you a lot,
Right.
except for the water. But yeah,
Oh,
they
I
all
know.
have it has its benefits because it helps the body to stay vibrant. It keeps the body active. It keeps the body's ability to change. It's like going from flying, you don't get jet lag because the body can just switch around really quickly. But if it's tired, it struggles. It struggles to change the time frames and you get jet lag. But if your body's strong and healthy, it just goes click. You get off the plane, boom, take one night, and that following morning, everything's back to normal again.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I found that.
and that's
Yeah,
just about the level of health in the body. Yeah.
I actually did. I've done like three-day fasts in the last 4 or 5 months, and I've been doing intermittent fasting. Of course, I lost like 20, 25 pounds, but I've noticed.
Yeah.
Well, the first thing that happened is my wife noticed that my eye color changed,
Okay.
and quite a bit of the aches and pains. I still have
Yeah.
some, but they're nowhere
The
near
aches
what
and
they were.
pains go away, the weight goes away. Yeah, it's
And
bizarre.
the joints start working better, and anything that's like going, oh, you're going to be arthritic. I still have some issues with my one shoulder, but I think that's from an injury. But it tends
Well, it
to
repairs
clean off.
itself. It's going to go around anywhere there's damage. It will repair itself, repair the joints, repair muscles, ligaments, tendons. It will repair everything. You can't help it
Yeah,
because the body thinks there's something wrong. So it goes around to repair itself to find out what it is that's causing you not to eat. And the same thing as you said before about the not eating, about losing weight. Well, the body's going to look for carbohydrates in the body because you're not feeding that. And so it'll go for the fat and it'll go to the fat, convert the fat back to carbohydrates, carbohydrates back to glucose, glucose back to energy. And it's just going to naturally do that by itself. That's why you lose so much weight. Because it's going to go craving food because you're not giving it food. And then you can regulate it to a certain way where it doesn't go craving food because you have your muscle fat index is correct. And so it won't do that either. It'll just be okay with you just having water because you train itself just to be okay with that. And it doesn't have to do anything. It's not panicking because you're not eating and having to break the fat down. It will stop. It slows down. The absorption of fat slows down because the body realizes it becomes a normality. The body just gets used to it, like anything else. It gets used to it. It becomes the norm and stops panicking. Yeah, something like that. Yeah, thanks for sharing. I love the zombie cells.
yeah, yeah. It's you get it up to a certain temperature, zombie shells start going. You can get into the ketosis part because the brain will run on that. They used to say it was only carbohydrates. Oh, you're only got to have sugar for the brain. No, ketones. Your brain can actually run on ketones.
Yeah, well,
So
it runs on
if
oil.
you,
It
there's some.
runs different. So I run on keto.
Yep,
So I don't run on carbohydrates. So I got out of that because I wanted to know because I'm one of these people that like to try everything. I try
yep.
every modality, every healing modality, every fasting technique, everything. I like to try them all because I'm intrigued by it. I'm intrigued about, and I'm not trying to live forever. I just want to live really good quality of life now. I want to feel vibrant every day of my life. So I ventured into things to find out about it. And the ketos thing, they said, well, you can not live off carbohydrates, not live off glucose. You can live off the oil, and you can get your energy from oil, which is the ketos. And I said, okay, well, I'll try that, see what it's like. And the body burns differently using oils. Like
Mm.
avocado is a really good source of that, of natural oils, of good oils. And so the body burns that energetically, really different than it burns sugar. Sugar is really hot. It burns the sugars, the glucose, and it has a very different charge to the body than the oil does. It runs differently. It's quite noticeably how different it runs when you've got one or the other. And I can go from either or. I can switch from both of them. I can have a piece of cake, which I'll have for my birthday tomorrow with the staff, and I'll get a I think she uses honey. She doesn't put any sugar in it anyway, but I'll get a hit from that, from the glucose.
Oh yeah.
I'll be fine with that. But then I'll go back, I won't have any more, and then it'll just go back to the ketones. It'll just go back to the oil again. So I can switch from one to the other, where before it was just straight carbohydrates. It was just living off glucose. It didn't know how to do anything else. That's how I was feeding it. But it does burn differently. And I will say that, but that's only my own experience. It burns very different off the oil. it runs different. It's cleaner. Your energy feels different.
Smoother. It's like
My body feels different. My consciousness is different. I'm clear in my way I see and how I can see into the world. It's different. So it has quite a profound effect. It was bigger than I thought it was going to. I thought I could already see, but I was surprised how different it was. It was the same when I gave up eating meat. I stopped eating meat and I was eating protein. I was getting the protein from the meat. And I was a big meat eater because I was born up in the family of big meat eaters. That's what we just ate meat and hardly anything else. And then I did the vegetarian thing and then realized my body burns energy different on vegetables and getting my protein from different sources. The body burns different for that one as well. It burns a lot cleaner. That the animal protein concept is a different way it burns than the other one. Now, I'm not saying that everybody should be vegetarian. I'm just saying for me, it was different. I just noticed the difference how it burned and how the energy was cleaner with the vegetarians by not eating meat. And now I've been a vegetarian over 30 years now. So I don't know what it's like. I can't remember what it's like to even be in that other place. But I know the difference when it happened in the first 6 months. I noticed the energetic change is quite significant. I noticed the energetic change when I stopped having carbohydrates. When I started just doing ketos and noticed the difference in that, I noticed that one too. And so, as I say, I'm not saying it's right for everybody, but it's just right for me. And so, I mean, I say to anybody, just try it. You don't know, you're only going to know your body is different to everybody else's. So yours is unique. So people do what I do, just try it. If it works better, well, then it's a good choice. And if it doesn't, well, just go back to deepen what you can. Because that's the good thing about us as humans. If it doesn't work, you can always go back to keep eating meat again. It doesn't make any difference. You just go back. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, they're looking.
Right. It's just what's right for your energetics.
They're looking at the like a high ketone or high protein diet, high fat diet, and how it can affect type 2 diabetes and actually lower that threshold by lowering the insulin.
Yeah.
The insulin resistance because of the glucose just spikes it, and then the body goes, "What the heck am I going to do with all this insulin?" And then after a while, it just builds a resistance to it.
For sure. And there's lots of research written about all of that. That's about the effects and the diabetic effect of things with the carbohydrates. I mean, there's lots of proof around that. So it's not
one of the things.
It's not an unknown thing now. So people pretty well work that out. But everybody's different, and part of the ketos, they're people that just do the meat, they get their protein from the meat. And they do the fat off the animals, and they get their protein that way. I mean, they're still living on protein, and they're living on the oil. It's just a different form. I just don't do that one because I have a thing about animals, so I don't like to eat animals. So, but that's fine. I mean, it still works. I'm not saying one's right or wrong. It's just people just got to work out what is right for them, so that you have this wake up every day and you open your eyes and you go, all right, I feel great. And you get out of bed and you're walking around the house and you feel like alive, and you feel this energy in your body and your vibrancy, and you just want to go into the day. You just want to wake up every morning like that. So whatever you do to create that, how do you do it? How do you do it? Is it to get a new job, get a new diet, go for a walk every morning, do something because what if you're not got that now, then there's something you're not doing. If you don't have that ability to wake up in the morning and feel like a 6-year-old, I wake up in the morning, feel like a 10-year-old. Drives my wife crazy. I'm like a big puppy. When I wake up in the morning, I always go to bed early too, but I eat really good food. I look after myself and I'm happy. And so you're going to get that. And I refuse to let that go. If I go out late at night because I've been invited out to somebody's dinner or birthday or something, and I'll be out late and won't get home till 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock, whatever. The following day, I'll wake up and go, oh God, I'm tired. I go to bed earlier the next night, and then I wake up the following morning and go, all right, back to normal again. Whew, thank goodness for that, because I refuse to wake up feeling tired. I used to do that every day of my life, wake up and I just didn't want to get out of bed. And what got me out of bed was I could drive myself. But I didn't want to get up. I was so tired. And I just pushed myself, and I'm just really good at driving myself. But man, it was costing me my health. And I used to get really sick. The body's immune system just kept falling apart. But I refuse to be like that anymore. I just want to wake up feeling good every morning. And Walter, I know you and I have talked about this. It's a different way to be. It's a different way to show up in the world. And life's better because you just do more. You do more. You see more. Life's more vibrant. Life's more fun. You joke and laugh more. You see the funny side of life more. Everything's just different. Yeah, it's a different way of life. And that, I think, is the key to the long. Somebody asked me the other day about, my age, and I told them, I said, how can you be so like that and look like you are? Yeah, I said, well, don't have any stress. I don't worry about too many things. I said to somebody, a group the other day, I said, if I get to 67 and I haven't worked out what makes me happy, I've missed something. If I haven't worked it out by now, what makes you happy and what makes you healthy, then what have I been doing the rest of my life? I should have it sorted out by now, what it looks like. And so I encourage people to find it, because life's different. Your experience of life is so much different. Yeah, it just is. Anyway, any more comments?
I think I need to open a rock shop.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Find something to be happy about.
Yeah. See, that's the rocks are yours. Rocks are mine too, by the way. Have more around the house.
Well, what I should do is take a film of all the stones I have laying around here. Like gigantic clusters and everything.
Well, you've got a lot of big ones too, haven't you? You've got a lot of really big.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I got like foot-long clusters, and they weigh like 30 pounds. And I actually have some of them outside because I can't put them in the house. There's no space for them.
Oh, that's great. Well, they're alive. Everything's alive.
Let me show you the one I have in this room. Just give me a second.
Yeah, no go. It's fine. I collect rocks too from all around the world. I think that the rocks have an energetics to them, and depending on what kind of rock it is, it has an extraordinary energy. And I know Walter collects them, so he's collected them his whole life, and he has some beautiful pieces. And energetic, just insane. No, look at that. Whoa, that's huge, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's just beautiful. See, and it's naturally formed. That's what gets me. It's made by nature.
Yeah.
The world makes that for us.
I could use this for weight training. Seriously.
Yeah, that's very, very cool.
It's like a 20, 30 pound single point. Back when they used to sell them cheap.
Yeah, a natural formed crystal. I mean, it's just extraordinary. We live in this extraordinary world. I bought all my stuff from New Zealand. I have all my rocks here now. So a couple of the boxes were very heavy for people to lift. But I have big pieces of black tourmaline, big pieces of black tourmaline. Yeah. Black tourmaline, in theory, takes away the EMFs. It sucks up the computer stuff from the computers, like white lilies. White lilies take away the energy of it as well. So I have them in the office, and I have my black tourmaline in the office too. So for that exact reason. So I brought them out here with me. fill up the container with rocks.
Yeah. But Tesla talked about tourmaline and heating tourmaline and creating ions.
Yeah. Well, it's about longevity, but they're healthy. They're good for you.
Yeah. There's some green
New Zealand have thing called punama, which is like greenstone. Yeah. And it's like it's called greenstone punami, but it's actually a jade. It's green. It's a green jade. It's New Zealand's version of jade.
That's that one that absorbs a lot of negativity.
It actually sings. It actually makes a vibration you can hear. I had a friend in New Zealand had a big piece, like a big piece, and you could touch it and you could hear it singing. It was vibrating. It's really high frequency. That's bizarre. And what it does is that they take away negative energetics out of the air. They absorb it. And so this thing, after a while, you've got to clean it. Otherwise, it just gets this dense mass. And I wear a punama around my neck, and a lot of New Zealand people do that in a jade around my neck. And I have to clean it. I have to clean it every now and then. I take it out into the moon to neutralize it, or I take it to the seawater and wash it. And after you've washed it, it changes color. It's lighter. It goes really, really deep, dark green but as soon as you wash it, it gets lighter. So there's something in that that's quite profound. And when you put it back on, it feels much better. It just doesn't. I don't know whether it's a psychological thing because I think I've done it or not. I don't know. But anyway, it does feel better.
Yeah, I know that same thing when you're cleaning rugs, because I've had that happen lots and lots and lots of times. It's like when it does absorb a lot of negativity, it doesn't matter if the weight physically doesn't change, but you feel it as being
Yeah.
lighter,
Yeah.
just because it's holding, released all that crap that it's been holding on to. One time I was when I worked at, what the heck was that place called? The Blue Moon Espresso Bar. I was working there. I was working as a psychic of all things. But they had rocks out there, picked them up and they would start pulsing. You could see the colors changing. I was like, oh, look at this, and it's like the person next to me is like, what the heck is going on there? But they can do that too.
That's wild. Well, it's like an example of that. You go into a Punami shop or into a greenstone shop in New Zealand where they've got lakavis, and people pick them up because they buy them because Punama in New Zealand it's a sacred stone from the Māori, and you can't buy one for yourself. You have to be gifted it to you. It's given to you present, and you can't give yours away. And well, actually, you can, but generally you wouldn't. And you go into the shop, but every time people pick it up, it picks up their energy, doesn't it? And they put it back down again. And then they pick up this one and put it down. And so all these people go into the shop, touching all the punamu or just whatever they do with it. The whole shop needs to clean all their punamus because you pick them up and they're dirty. They feel like they're dispersed. Like there's a lot of energy on it. There's not one person. There's a whole lot of shit going on when you put it down and pick it up. They're just busy, like energetically busy. You put it down again.
And you have to pick it up.
You need to clean all of these stones again and give a sign, please don't touch. But I'm not
Yeah,
sure
there
it might even absorb it, just
work.
the presence of people, let alone whether you touch it or not. It might even absorb it when people walk past it. I don't know. But yeah, it's funny how, and inside the shop, there's just this vibration of this energy in the shop. And it was like chaos. It was just like all this vibrational disturbance. And it was all mixed up. It was a funny thing. It wasn't comfortable for me being in there. And I'd imagine, because I mean, you have a beautiful connection to rock and stone and to crystals, that you'd be able to feel it. Yeah, that's weird. It's a weird feeling in here. It's not cool.
Well, you can talk to
a crystal shop. You'd probably get it going in a crystal shop and just all the vibration all at once. It's just bizarre.
No, I had to shut that down sometimes. So you walk into a rock shop.
You've got to protect yourself, otherwise you walk in there and disturb you.
Everybody dumps when they're in it, so it's like you can't do that.
Yeah.
But you can talk to stones. I mean, you can just hold it in your hand and then see what comes up in your mind.
Everything. We can communicate with everything. What I totally agree.
You can do it on anything. I mean, it doesn't even have to be a stone.
Trees talk to each other. They've proven that trees talk to each other. We just don't know how to talk their language. We can't hear it. It's not audible to us. They know animals talk to each other. They know whales talk to dolphins. Everybody talks to them. So we just don't know the language. Stones are vibration. They're vibrational energy, and they're vibrating. So they're communicating with each other. We just don't know the language.
Trees, you can. We've done that up here. I was part of a group that was doing that. And it's like they're like going, well, these trees are talking to those trees over there, and they're communicating.
They've done scientific studies to show that they talk to each other, that they actually communicate.
Yeah, but just listen for the words, and it'll come in, and basically your higher self or whatever is translating it. So you end up getting words from the tree.
I agree.
As to what's going on, and then you get the energy from the tree, and you can get a good buzz on that. Sometimes they'll sit there and heal you. The tree will do that, and
sure.
But anything like this, although I haven't tried it on the chickens yet.
The chickens talk to you.
Well, they do. They come up. They don't do it spiritually. They come up to you and say, "Give me food."
Yeah. But they do talk to you, though. See, remember, we're not communicating through words. Like we're talking through words, and we're making certain words. And this particular sound that I'm making is called English. And if somebody's talking Chinese, they talk Chinese, and they make a different sound, but they're still communicating in a language that everybody can understand it. Well, we can understand this. We're communicating in a certain way, and we understand, and we communicate through this form of vibrational sound reflection. But everything else is vibrating sound as well. It's just we just don't take that approach. Everything with an atom that's swirling around with an atom and neutrons and protons is making a vibrational sound, and that's everything. Even a piece of plastic made up of atoms is still vibrating. So everything's sound. It's just we audibly can't hear it, nor would you want to. You wouldn't want to be able to hear everything. Oh my God, you'd go nuts. You just go, there would be so much noise. You go, well, shut up. If you could hear everything, the curtains and the mats and the floors and the tiles and the cups, everything else, you could hear the vibration of all of that. Oh my God. But we're not designed like this. Our planet's not designed, and we're not designed to be able to do that, nor would you want to.
Yeah, well, that goes along with some of the new theories about the universe. Everything it's like the mystics and everybody else said this a long, long time ago. Now physicists are putting out theories that are saying the same thing, that everything is conscious.
Yeah,
because it's now they're looking at it as a holographic universe, and we've been going, yeah, we kind of figured that out a long time ago. I'm glad you finally caught up to everybody else.
Yeah, exactly. Well, it's starting to self-prove itself. You see, with quantum physics and lots of other things now, it's just starting to question reality. It's like we talked about the other day about what gravity is, and nobody actually knows what gravity is. They've got a lot of theories. I wrote up in an article, there was 12 different theories about what gravity is, but nobody actually knows what's actually creating it. They've got these theories around what they think it is, but then they all don't agree with each other. And so just that mere fact of what makes us stand on the ground and what makes everything fall down, we haven't worked that out. As human beings, we don't even know what that is. Let alone do we know how our body functions. Half the stuff in our body, we have no idea what's going on. So we know what's going on, but we just don't know how it's going on. You know, how can you instantly record a memory when you're 5 years old and just come back straight to bang like that? Well, where did that come from? What part of my hard drive have I got a file 5 years old? Open the file, here's the memory, and then I can see it. And not only can I see it, I can feel what it felt like to be there. It's very clever. I just want to have more experiences, so I've got to keep it healthy so I can have more experiences because it's fascinating.
Yeah, they just also came out with a theory of massless gravity. You don't need mass. That just came out within the last few weeks. It's like
time space continuum. They're talking about it's nothing, anything what we're thinking. Yeah, sorry.
They don't know what's going on anymore. It's like they went too far and now it messed up all their theories. They don't know what to do with it.
If we stopped in the world what we actually know, what we actually knew in the world, there's not a lot. I know Tom Caughey is a medical physician. He said, so let's just do with medicine what we do know, and then stop making ideas of what we think it is. And he said, once you do that, then the known understanding of the physical body is very, very limited. What we really know, the rest is just theory. I mean, I was talking to somebody the other day about the receptors on a cell, a human cell, the receptors on a cell. And nobody in the world has ever seen one, a receptor on a cell. No human being's ever seen one. They're too small. Even with electron telescope, they cannot see them. But there's about 12 different theories what they look like that nobody knows. So this whole receptor thing going through into the cells, and nobody's ever seen it happen. It's just a concept. And so if you go back to what we do know, it's getting narrow. As soon as you get some molecular, what is it when it gets really small? As soon as it gets really small, I'm trying to think the right word to describe that. But as soon as it gets very, very small, that we can't see, then it's just guesses from then on.
Yeah.
You know, my teacher said to me, and I've said this in one of the other ones, we had a big A&P, anatomy and physiology book. And he said, you know, most of the stuff in that book's just theory. It's not actually true. Nobody knows that. They're pictures of the barrier where the thing's going through the potassium and calcium barrier. Nobody knows. They think that's what happened. And this is a doctor saying this. I said, what in the book? He said, yeah, most of it's just theory. There's very little in there that they've actually proven. It's just theory, because as soon as you get really small, they don't know because they can't see it. And it happens in billions of seconds. And so you can't watch it either. And that's bizarre. And he said, ATP, that you transfer glucose and carbohydrates to glucose to ATP and makes your arm move. Right. Well, to do that, it's a chemical reaction that does it, and it changes it to ATP, which makes the arm twitch. And then when you let it go, then it converts it back from ATP back to glucose, back to carbohydrates in a billionth of a second. I said, that's what they think happens.
Right. They have no.
Fantastic, isn't it? I just don't know. And so when we go back to what we do know, it's surprised me a lot less than we think. And we're taught through the medical world, this is that, and this is that, but nobody actually knows if it's true or not. It's just
It goes into things like we do with energetic work too. I mean,
well, exactly.
classes out west, it's like they taught us to do things, and I've talked about this before, where we're moving wind chimes and stuff with our mind. I mean, moving wind chimes, crystallizing roses, crystallizing limes, playing with the cloud people, kind of thing.
Bending spoons, you can do all
No
of that.
idea.
We're
They'll sit there.
a lot more flesh than we think we are. But how we do that, well, that's another matter, though, isn't it?
Exactly.
What actually transpires, we can see the result of it, but how are we doing that? I'm not sure. How can we pray for somebody on the other side of the world and heal them just by praying for them? Who are we that we can do that? And how on earth does that happen? We see the result of it and you go, yeah, well, that's just either a coincidence or good luck or whatever it is. But
there's no space between anything.
Well, exactly. There's no time. We only live in the one space, the present moment.
We're just God down here playing with ourselves. I mean, that's
it could be. I mean, I don't know. I have lots of theories around it, but I mean, none of them I can prove. So I'm reluctant to say things that I don't know for a fact or for my own experience. I don't like quoting other people's experiences because they're not mine. But it's just, I don't know. I don't know. I find it fascinating. I find the whole life that we have, this experience of life is extraordinary. And there are people born into this world who have really tough experiences that are not easy, but they're still experiences that they're having. And I've been born and I've had my own places of pain and suffering inside the world. But there are people with pain and suffering. Somehow I got out of it somehow at the moment where I'm in a good space. And I say touch wood because anything can change. I don't know. But there are people that it's a really, really hard life for them to be. It's hard for them in the world. I get that. Life's it's not easy for some people in this world to do this. And we're talking about longevity and about having quality of life. Well, there's some tough lives out there. People are having some really physically unwell places. And some of them born into it as well. So do I understand why that all happens? No, I don't know. I have my theories around it, but do I know for a fact? No. I'd be a brave person to own that they know why that happens for a fact, without it just being a belief, without it would be some sort of factual backing of that. Yeah. Anyway, life. It's fascinating. Anyway.
Life, universe, and everything. It's all 42.
Yeah. Yes, it's 42. Yeah, it's life, the world, and the universe. I think if you stay with what you know and what's actually true for you anyway, then you can't go too far wrong, and then you get away from all that ideas and beliefs and projections and ideas of how we think it should be and just accept there are certain things we just don't know. We might never know. Humans might never unpack this, the complexity of life itself and who we really are. How can we reprogram ourselves? How can we change our computer? I don't know. It's fascinating. We're self-realizing ourselves, just like the AI is waking itself up. We're waking up too through our own consciousness. Who are we really? I mean, we're asking that question, and it's fascinating. What is this whole concept of life? AI is getting to a place where it's asking same questions about, okay, what is it? I like asking ChatGPT questions, spiritual questions like that. I like asking, and it comes back to this, look, I'm just a machine, I don't know.
Don't know.
I asked it a question the other day when we were talking about the Tai Chi, and I asked it a question about what happens. You were in the class, and I asked her what happens when you send a message from your mind to your arm, and then just before your arm moves, what happens in the arm? And I put it out to everybody to ask what they thought it was actually happening. And because you can do two things. Well, one is the arm starts moving. Something happens before it starts moving. From here, right. from go to the accelerator, something happens. You actually have to do something for it to start moving. And in Qigong, of course, the breath goes first. You start breathing out, and then the arm follows the breath. But before you start breathing out, that split second before your mind sends a message to your arm, the out breath is a gap. This is what the meditators talk about, this gap between two thoughts. So what happens in that gap? And what actually happens when I tell people that you actually got to relax. You have to let go because you can't move otherwise. You've actually got it, because at the moment I'm holding my arm there, there's ligaments and tendons are holding it in position. They're rigidly holding it there. Because if I let it go, it's just going to fall off. So I've got to actually have some sort of resistance to hold it up. But if I want to move it, I have to relax that posture so I can move. Otherwise, it won't move. Just stay where it is. I've got to let the ligaments and tendons go. And as soon as I let them go, the energy takes over. As soon as I relax, the energy starts moving it by itself. And then the muscles grab hold of the energy and ride the energy. The muscles control the energy, but the energy what goes first. But what it only happens when you relax. And so it's symbology of life. You can only do anything if you relax. You have to relax first. You have to let go first. You have to let go of something so you can have something else. You have to let go of being here so it can move over to there. I've got to let go of the idea I'm sitting here to stand up. I've got to let go of what I think I am, what I'm doing right now to do something else. You actually got to let go where you are. You've got to give in. You've got to relax. And it's such a symbolic idea of whole of life. If you want to make any change in the world, you have to let go and relax and then make the change of anything.
Yeah.
It's such a simple thing. But then that's the actual fundamental of anything we do. We have to actually let go of where we are right now to move. Otherwise, we can't move. We're stuck. But you have to let go of what you're thinking right now as well. Let go of the physical form, mental form, spiritual form, let go of the whole lot. And then you can move.